Here's a weird thought. You didn't choose to watch this video, not really. An algorithm chose it for you. It's watched thousands of your clicks, your shares, and it's even noticed the exact moments you hesitated while scrolling. It knows what makes you angry, what makes you feel seen, and most importantly, what will keep you watching. Your social media feed, your search results. They aren't a window to the world. They're a personalized reality, built from the ground up, just for you. And it's completely different from anyone else's. So today we're going to pull back the curtain and show you how that personalized bubble is being used to shape what you think and what you believe. What you see online isn't a neutral shared space. It's a mirror, reflecting your own biases and interests right back at you. This is what internet activist Eli Pariser famously called the filter bubble. It's a unique little universe of information that algorithms create for each and every one of us. These incredibly complex programs track everything you do. Your search history, your location, what you click on, how long you linger on a video, and who you talk to. Now, the goal wasn't necessarily to be evil, at least not at first. The business model for most of these platforms is simple. Keep you engaged for as long as possible. They aren't selling you a product, they're selling your attention to advertisers. And what's the best way to keep your attention? Show you things you already like. Show you things that confirm what you already believe. It creates a seamless, positive user experience to keep you satisfied and scrolling. But in doing so, they create an echo chamber, where you're surrounded by opinions and information that only reinforce your own. This isn't some grand conspiracy, it's just business. A machine is making decisions for you, and its only goal is to maximize your screen time. The problem is, this machine doesn't care about truth or nuance or a balanced perspective. It only cares about what keeps you hooked. And that has some pretty profound consequences, not just for you, but for all of us. A functioning democracy needs a set of shared facts to work, but instead, we're all being sent into separate, parallel universes. So, how does this actually work? Let's get into the mechanics of influence, because it's not just about showing you more cat videos since you liked one yesterday. The system is way more sophisticated and honestly a lot more powerful than that. At the heart of it is a phenomenon psychologist Dr. Robert Epstein calls the search engine manipulation effect, or SEME. His research is pretty startling. Through a series of experiments, he showed that simply by changing the order of search results, you can shift the voting preferences of undecided voters by 20% or more. Think about that. With no one noticing, a platform could potentially influence an election just by tweaking what you see first. The manipulation is almost completely invisible. We trust higher-ranked results, assuming they're more authoritative, with no idea the order might be skewed. Based on these findings, Epstein controversially speculates that this effect could already be a deciding factor in as many as a quarter of the world's national elections. YouTube's recommendation algorithm plays a similar game. It's estimated that the vast majority of all time spent on YouTube, around 70%, is driven by what the algorithm recommends you watch next. And the platform has learned that one of the best ways to keep you there is to serve up content that's just a little more extreme than what you just watched. This creates a rabbit hole effect. Someone might start by watching a video on healthy eating and a few clicks later find themselves in a world of anti-vaccine conspiracies. Someone curious about a political event can be guided toward increasingly radical and polarizing content. The algorithm figured out that outrage is a powerful driver of engagement. It doesn't know the difference between a well-researched documentary and a wild conspiracy theory. It only knows what you click on versus what you ignore. In fact, a 2018 MIT study on Twitter found that falsehoods were 70% more likely to be retweeted than true stories, especially in their initial viral spread. The algorithm doesn't care about the truth. It cares about what's addictive. And this isn't a theory. Leaked internal documents from major tech companies have confirmed they know their algorithms amplify misinformation and extremist content simply because it's so incredibly engaging. The system is working exactly as it was designed. The side effect? A deeply fragmented and misinformed society. So what's the big deal? What actually happens when billions of people are living in their own custom-built realities? The most obvious result is the extreme political polarization we see everywhere. We're no longer just disagreeing on solutions. We're disagreeing on the basic facts of a problem because we're being fed completely different information. The algorithm learned that anger and fear are rocket fuel for engagement. It pushes forward the most divisive statements and the most rage-inducing takes because those generate clicks, comments, and shares. The system is, without meaning to, turning us all into more aggressive versions of ourselves by rewarding outrage with attention. This completely shreds our ability to have a real conversation. When you're only ever shown information that confirms your worldview, anyone who disagrees doesn't just seem wrong, they seem clueless or even malicious. You can see how that leads to a total breakdown in civil debate. We stop listening to each other because the algorithm has trained us to believe that any opposing view is not only incorrect but totally illegitimate. This also creates a society that's incredibly vulnerable to manipulation. When one company has the power to invisibly shift opinions and votes, it holds a terrifying amount of unchecked power. And while they all deny they would ever deliberately rig things for political reasons, their entire system is built on commercial manipulation. The same tools used to convince you to buy a pair of sneakers can be used to convince you to adopt an ideology. Even regulatory bodies are starting to wake up to this. In Europe, the Digital Markets Act, DMA, is already forcing large tech companies to be more transparent. Actions in recent years show a growing global recognition that the unchecked power of these algorithms is a serious problem that needs to be addressed, with regulators signaling they are looking closer at everything from search data to AI services. Okay, that was a lot, and it all sounds pretty bleak. But here's the good news. You are not powerless in this. The algorithm isn't going away, but you don't have to be a passive passenger on its wild ride. There are real concrete things you can do to pop your filter bubble and get back to a more balanced reality. First, mix up your information diet. Make a real effort to seek out news and opinions from a variety of sources, especially from people you might disagree with. Follow publications and creators from across the spectrum. This is going to feel uncomfortable at first because the algorithm has trained you to want validation, not a challenge. But stick with it. Don't jump into arguments, just listen and read. Second, start retraining your algorithm. You've been unconsciously training it for years, so you can consciously retrain it now. Actively search for topics you'd never normally look up. Watch videos from creators who challenge your views. Be mindful of every single click. Each interaction is a vote for the kind of content you want to see. You can also use private browsing or incognito modes to get a glimpse of what the internet looks like outside of your bubble. Third, and this is probably the most critical skill for the 21st century, practice digital media literacy. Before you share something, especially if it makes you feel a strong emotion, just pause. Fact-check it with multiple reliable sources. Learn to spot the classic tricks of misinformation, like emotional language, cherry-picked data, and a total lack of credible sources. And always, always ask yourself, why am I seeing this? And who benefits if I believe it? Finally, curate your own feeds. Don't just rely on what the algorithm serves up. Use tools like RSS readers, or create lists on social media to follow specific sources that you have chosen instead of letting a machine choose for you. It puts you back in the driver's seat. Look, the digital world we live in wasn't built for our well-being. It was built to keep us scrolling, clicking, and watching. It's a system that, whether intentionally or not, often profits from division and distraction. But understanding how the system works is the key to subverting it. If this video made you think, please share it. Spreading this awareness is the most powerful tool we have. Subscribe for more deep dives into the hidden forces that shape our world. And let us know in the comments one thing you plan to do to start bursting your own filter bubble. The algorithm isn't all powerful. It learns from you. By being more conscious and deliberate with our digital habits, we can demand a better, more transparent, and more connected reality. The algorithm isn't going away, but your awareness is your best defense.